You're not a guy that really spends a lot of time working on fitness or health or any of those.
That's a nice way to put it.
Well, you enjoyed that article
Lazy
that I wrote back in the day.
is what you're trying to say.
Man. I love you. But
I take it as a compliment.
I
got better things to do than work out, Joe.
I get it. You enjoyed that article that I wrote a long time ago.
I did.
About
the sand.
Yeah, human body's like a sandcastle.
Yeah.
You can make it beautiful, but it's not going to last.
Yeah.
And you know that going in. You know that way. You're doing
it. And I mean, I've got this idea for a book, if I keep writing books, which is sort of a self-help book, but it's a parody of self-help books. And so it'll be calling attention to the way so much of what we do to try to be healthy is actually counterproductive because we stress, especially Americans. Everything's work, everything turns into work. And Americans are very suspicious of pleasure. We're taught to that pleasure is evil and dangerous and all this. Mm-hmm. I've never bought that line of reasoning. I've always felt like what feels good generally is good. There's a reason it feels good, Now that can get corrupted by advertising and false messaging from a sick society that tells you, sit on the sofa and drink beer and eat bags of chips all day. But if you get beyond that and you can actually hear the voice of your body, I think if your body is telling you to, stay in bed because it's a rainy, cold day. Now, I know this is totally against your perspective on life, where you're like, you got to tame the inner bitch, you got to get out of bed, you got to work out, it doesn't matter. I'm like, no, man, I'm staying in bed. Like you go do what you need to do. I used to climb mountains with this friend of mine in Spain, and he was like you. He was a fucking billy goat. He'd like go up and I'd go with him till I got to a nice spot with a nice view. I'd be like, dude, I'll be here when you come down. Taking a nap, got a bottle of wine and some cheese.
I appreciate that too. I'm not married to my perspective, but I think I have a very peculiar biology that demands a certain amount of exertion.
Yeah,
me
sure.
Personally.
And I have friends like that. I mean, I have lots of friends like, man, if I don't run every day, I feel like shit. I'm like,
running's very addictive, though.
I feel fine.
Yeah, you get used to it. There's a high that you get from running that's really interesting. And any long-term cardiovascular exercise, you get this. It's like we did, last October, we did the Sober October thing where we had this crazy fitness challenge. So all of us were doing cardio like 5 hours a day, like really crazy amounts of cardio. And one of the things that Tom Segura and I both agreed on is like the amount of internal chatter dissipates to zero. Like you have no anxiety. It goes, I didn't realize I had any anxiety until that happened. And then I was like, God, it goes to zero. It goes to nothing. Like when you do like 5 hours on a treadmill or you just run for when it's done, man, there's this like peace of mind that comes with that. This release of endorphins that's incredibly addictive because that feeling is so pleasing. So it's not that it doesn't feel good to get out of bed and to just push when you don't want to, but the end result feels amazing. It does feel really good.
I wonder if there's any research looking into whether that effect happens universally. Because I've worked out, I've run. There were times in my life I've never gotten a runner's high. No. Never. I get my teeth hurt, my knees hurt, my back hurts. I feel my brain, bouncing around in my skull. I'm half a mile into it and I'm like, fuck this. This doesn't feel good.
You have to get in shape first. That's a big part of it. It's not that simple. It's like for me, I never really got into running. Like the first time I really did any serious running, my friend Cam Haynes had a 5K, which is, what is that, 3 miles, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
And I didn't run at all in preparation for it. And when I ran the 5K, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is hard. Like I didn't have, and there was no good feeling at all.
Yeah.
It's running on concrete and shit. And
right.
In Vegas, it's gross.
Oh, in Vegas.
Just smelling sin in the air. And, but when it was over, I was like, okay, obviously, I'm in good shape, but not in good running shape at all, so I should probably get in shape for this. So then I started running. And then when I got into running, and particularly running hills, then I started feeling it once I kind of got in that kind of shape. And then when the workouts are over, like I run all the time now. And when it's over, I just have this.
Yeah, you and Marshall are
Yeah.
doing your thing. It's great.
Yeah, I fucking and he loves it too. There's a crazy bonding experience with that dog,
Yeah.
because he loves it.
I got my dad a golden retriever.
They're the best dogs.
Years ago, when my dad was like, maybe it's genetic because he was pretty lazy. He'd come home from work and he'd sit in front of the TV and drink vodka and get upset about the news. And my mother didn't like dogs, but my sister and I convinced her that Dad needs a dog because Dad will get this dog and he'll go for walks because the dog needs to walk. And so we got him a golden retriever. He named it Stoli. Bad sign right there. And then he never went for walks. Stoli just sat next to him and got fat.
Oh, poor Stoli.
I know.
Well, it's common.
Doesn't always work.
No. Yeah, it helps me get going because I know that he needs exercise.
Yeah.
It does. But it helps me too. And it's fun. Like, I talk to him when we run, Like, as we're running, I have little conversations with him.
Yeah. Cool.
Fun.
And he's not judging you, right?
He doesn't give a fuck. I could be fat. I could be covered in shit. He wouldn't give a
He'd probably prefer that.
roll
Make you
around
more
me.
interesting.
Yeah, but the runner's high is a real thing. But you have to achieve some level of fitness before I think it kicks in.